Hello and welcome to Fergie's Gum. I'm your host, Nathan Irvine, and after passing a late fitness test, I'm joined by the recovering Mr. Paul Cropper. How you doing, mate?
Guess who's back? Back again, talking crap. He's back. Mate, I was not well last week. Struck down, I'm all right now. Bit nasally. Might not come across well, but I'm here. Turned up.
You are here. A person that isn't here is Ahmad, who is getting ready to move from Dubai to Luxembourg to start his first dental practice. So he moves out there tomorrow. So it's going to be interesting to get us all on the same time zone to do this in the future. And it is a very niche.
Is that a long move?
It's a long move. Yeah, he'll be back after 2 years just to get his experience, quite literally, and then he'll be back here to ply his trade back in Dubai again, I imagine.
Enjoy it, Ahmad.
Interestingly, it just came to mind, and it's probably something that's super niche, but he's a dentist. He's moving to Luxembourg. It made me think of the Smiths song "Ask," where he talks about where Morrissey talks about a pen friend, a buck-toothed girl from Luxembourg. So maybe he's off there to fix her teeth. There we go.
About time, isn't it?
Yeah, it is about time. It's only about 35 years too late. But there we go. Anyway, yeah, exactly. Now she can afford it. Anyway, we're about to talk about the weekend shenanigans, and I guess we can only start in one place.
Mazraoui forward to Bruno. Lovely little over from Bruno Fernandes, and he's in behind. Gets an early ball into the box. Sesko inside the area. Sesko at the Stretford end. Manchester United never die. Top corner, 3-2. Benjamin Sesko.
There we go. That's obviously Benjamin Sesko scoring at the Stretford end there. Deep into Fergie time as well, to win 3-2 against Fulham. It was a topsy-turvy game, mate. What did you think of it?
Never in doubt, was it? Never in doubt. 3 points in the bag. They're a good Premier League team, aren't they, Fulham? And I think they showed that as well. And they've shown it more the past, 3-4 seasons? No pushovers, Fulham, some of them players that we've got. So to get 2 good 3 points at home. I know you and Ahmad last week said it was a game where you need to be pushing on and winning it. I wasn't so confident with dominate. But yeah, take the 3 points there all day. Brilliant. Some brilliant individual performances as well, to be fair.
Yeah, and we'll obviously come on to those in a second. The one thing that was talked about quite a lot before the game was that this was going to be an even bigger test for Michael Carrick's Manchester United. So, yes, they can raise themselves for Manchester City. Yes, they can raise themselves for Arsenal. But how do they compare against a team or compete against a team that plays like a low block, that has like a different option to deal with? I don't think they played a low block. I think they came to Old Trafford. I think they came to Old Trafford to win that game. And as you just said then, they played some lovely football. The triangles that they were making, they kept finding pockets of space in midfield. And I was like, oof, we could be up against it here. You go 2-0 up and you're like, brilliant, cruising. Get a third and we'll just finish this game off. And then, well, we know what happened in the end. But did you think it was a truer test of Michael Carrick and his team's abilities to coach a match?
I've been to I think I went to the last 4 home games or something like that before we started playing well, before Carrick came in, and it was garbage against teams, against teams that you should be looking to beat. So it was, because they're not playing a low block, but it's a team you're expected to attack and go at. So it's something we've struggled with. So for us to actually go 2 up, I think we had the keeper needs some sort of bit of praise there, because he makes a save early on, tips it round the post. So if that goes in, you think, does the crowd go down again? Do they lose confidence, this team? Because it's something that we've seen them all do. But I'm not counting all my chickens with this team. We've won 3 in a row, but we've all seen what they're capable of. So for you just to get over the line, get the 3 points the way we did in the manner, I think you just got to take it, be happy with it. I think a point probably would have been a fairer result, to be fair, but we've taken the 3 points all day, right?
Interesting. I mean, I wouldn't have taken a point at 2-0 up, but I think it would have been like losing the game if we had drawn that 2-2.
Yes.
But I think to win it in that manner, in Fergie time, and obviously the camera cuts to him when that goal goes in from Benjamin Sesko. It's, it just felt like old school United. That's what it felt like after all the misery. And bear in mind, it took Ruben Amorim 34 Premier League games to win 3 in a row. He's taken Carrick 3 out of his 3 to win 3 in a row. It just feels good to just not be moaning about formations, not be moaning about, oh, it's going to come good if only we could get that player, or if only that player plays his position well and doesn't switch off. Like, we're not even talking about the goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean? We're not saying, oh, he's messed up for that. We're not even talking about, oh, Darrow's out of position. He's done this wrong or that wrong. Do you know what I mean? It just highlights
Simple
just how
things.
much of a, exactly, mate, exactly that. It just highlights how these very simple things have a massive effect. And nobody more so than Bruno Fernandes is thriving in this simple thing. Play him in his position and he's got another 2 assists. Like, he's been fantastic. That turn on Bassi, come on now. Come on.
Brilliant, wasn't it? Absolutely brilliant.
A nutmeg dummy. Oof. Delicious.
He's been given a sort of a free role just to go and get involved. And like I said it the other week when we were on there, because Mainoo's actually in the team, linking play together, Bruno's not having to do that job. And he can concentrate on just create goals. We know you're good at it. Go forward, look forward, instead of coming deep. And sometimes he was sat right next to the back 3, wasn't he? You don't want Bruno there. You want him 30, 40 yards ahead. And give it so Mainoo can link the ball. He can pick it up off the defenders, and then he can play it through the lines. Let Bruno course have it, because he picks up such brilliant positions. Bruno, he'll go and stand next to the fullback. He'll go and stand next to a forward, and then all of a sudden he'll come give me the ball, and the midfielder's like, oh, where's he? Who's marking him? And he's so clever, Bruno Fernandes, and he'd be a nightmare to play against, and that's why he's getting these numbers now, and he's pushing on, and you can only see him scoring more, creating more all season.
I think he's 8 away from the all-time records of assists in a Premier League season. I think he's on 12 now. And I think it's Thierry Henry and Kevin De Bruyne that are
De Bruyne will
top
be up
assist
there,
makers. I think it's 20.
Imagine.
I think it's 20. So he's in with a good shout of doing that. Speaking of individual performances, that the pivot of Casemiro and Mainoo is just, again, I don't want to mention him because we kind of talked about this last week and we had a bit of an amnesty on it, but it does make the previous regime's decision-making come into the spotlight. They're playing so well together, Casemiro and Mainoo. It doesn't make sense. Does not make sense. But I am happy.
Complement each other.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm happy that they're both playing so well. What did you think of Casemiro's performance, mate?
He's got that in him where he's positionally wise, he's very clever, and he's just a good footballer around. He's won everything, Andy Casemiro. So for us to doubt him and to doubt his ability, I don't think it was ever his ability or his passion that we doubted. I think it was just his legs and his age and we know that he can't cover all that ground. We know that he won't be able to do that. And when, like I said earlier, when Bruno was coming and playing at the side of him and he just went mental, Casemiro was always left on his own. Now you've got Mainoo playing that deep lying playmaker, which he does. There's somebody alongside him, and you can leave Casemiro to break up play, give it to the fullback, give it to Mainoo, and they just complement each other. A ball-winning midfielder and a deep line playmaker as your 2 pivots is exactly what you want. Unfortunately, when Casemiro goes off, as we saw, Ugarte comes on and just completely leaves the centre midfield. So it was wide open, and that's something that's going to have to be looked at. I was hoping it'd be looked at in this transfer window, but it's not. But back to Casemiro, brilliant. And 4-headed goals this season already?
Yeah.
He's a threat. Yeah. He's a threat, isn't he? He really is a threat. Old hamster cheeks, love it.
That invisible stepladder comes out from every now and again when he's in the 6-yard box, and he's up there rising above the defenders, which is great to see. I think everyone kind of thought that he wasn't, he was well past his best. I'm not saying he's at prime Casemiro stage, but there's definitely more life in him than what we considered previously. And I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's like having someone next to him that is actually going to play in that deep lying role and not just have to go forward like Bruno was doing. Yeah, they do. It works perfectly. Casemiro's directing traffic now. If you watch him in the centre of the park, he's telling defenders to move forward. He's telling centre-backs where to go. He's telling Mainoo which bits to cover. He's bringing in Ahmad from the wing and telling Cunha, like, stick in here. And Like he's in his element and he's enjoying himself. And I'm not saying that United should get back to the negotiating table with him, but I do think you're going to miss a character like that when he does finally leave the club at the end of the season. So it's going to be a difficult one to replace. But we're going to talk about summer transfers in the next section anyway. So we'll leave that for now. Mainu, that tackle that he put in, I think it must have been about 20 minutes. That
Brilliant.
felt personal. That felt like it answered all the critics, and it felt personal to Ruben Amorim, who he's probably imagining watching on TV. Oh, I can't trap back, can I? I can't tackle, can I? Yeah, how about this? Bang! I thought he'd injured that Fulham player. Was it who was it that he went through? Was it Jimenez?
I'm not sure, but he took everything, didn't he? So he went through him and his ancestors, didn't he? So I'm having a bit of that, taking everything. Brilliant. But I think we've said this over and over again, haven't we? If you're not dominate the game, you're not attacking. Just hit someone. And the crowd's up, and that's all. And you can, and everyone loves it. Yeah, again, and then you're up them for the next 5 minutes, and then it builds momentum, and you do that. Did you see? Was it Iwobi? Because I think Mainu broke his fingers or something like that, didn't he? And
did he?
But he's got Ghanaian strength, that kid.
Right.
Yeah, in a tackle, he broke his fingers. Apparently, I saw it on Instagram yesterday. Brilliant.
Wow.
But Mainu, I don't remember him doing that before all he got dropped. Snapping into tackles and covering the amount of ground that he was doing. So it has given him a jolt. It has given him a bit of a boost to say, no, I'm here now. This is my position, and that's all you can ask from a young kid. Once you get your chance, he's played well in all 3 games now. He's been in the team. And you wouldn't have him out of the team, now, would you? No, he'd be one of the first names on your starting team.
I think under Amorim, whether he'll admit it or not, but under Amorim, he seems to have added that to his game, as you say, that type of positional sense and the tracking back. Because there were games that we've watched Mainu play before, and it looks like he's running through treacle to try and get back. But now it doesn't seem as though he's doing those big long runs back. He's already in position. He's learning from Casemiro at the side of him. It's like, it's just these 5 yards. This is all we have to look after. These boxes, stay close to each other, and we'll make sure that we're good. And then he's distributing the ball as well. So yeah, absolutely no complaints about him. I wanted to ask you about Cunha. Yeah, go on.
Just before you move on with Kobe, I was just going to say that there's no better person for him to learn from than Carrick, is there? There's nobody to teach him that game and that position and the way to play football than the manager. So yeah, he's brilliant for me. Can you imagine them both learn? Be teaching.
He's got both, hasn't he? He's got Carrick and Casemiro both teaching.
Exactly.
That's what a dream that is. What a dream that is as a young player coming through. You've got a player on the pitch that's actually telling you where to play and who's won it all. And then you've got a player off the pitch or a manager off the pitch who's been there, done it, won it all as well. And they're both telling you how to do it. You can't fail that way unless you're a numbskull. You just can't fail with that. And one of the other players that I wanted to talk about, obviously Patrick Dorgu's out. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks now. Cunha's playing in that position. Now, in the WhatsApp group, in our Fergie's Gun group, I actually said that, is it time to take Cunha off for Sesko? And that was just before he scored that goal. Is it just me, or is he becoming a moments player? I don't care about it. If he's going to score top goals each week, I'm not bothered. But it feels like he's a moments player at the moment, rather than one that's grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck and changing things.
It's probably just the way he approaches the game, that Nathan. He doesn't.
Do you hang on? Actually, just because I know which angle you're going to be taking on this now. Do you think it's actually changed his game from the earlier on when he started? Because you remember how excited we kept getting, talking about hearing the seats clacking when he gets on the ball and he's driving forward, the only player to be doing it. He's still doing that, but he's not doing it in dangerous places where he's going to lose possession. He's doing it down the wings at the moment. I think he's had a mentality shift, but you can't underestimate his impact on the game from the bench or starting.
I understand what you're saying, because he was coming so deep getting the ball, wasn't he? He was standing 2 yards off Bruno. Or was it when there was somebody not available and he was taking it upon himself to be like, no, give me the ball and I'll do it here. But when you've got trust in your teammates to do that, when you've got the likes of Mainu going, getting the ball, he can then stay further forward and he can affect the game. So if he's probably got more trust in his teammates to get the ball, Casemiro being another one. Now you can give it me. Same with Bruno. If you're getting the ball 30, 40 yards up the pitch, you can then cause. And what I've noticed is they are interchanging very, very well in Bruno and Cunha. And Jamie Carragher's breakdown on it's very good if you want to go and give it a watch. But a lot of you think back to the City game, he's out on the right wing, skips round the fullback, and he did the same, which wasn't a penalty, but we got the free kick from the goal. So I didn't think he had that in his game, to be fair, skipping past fullbacks, to go on the outside. But his strength, his ability, seems like he's a very well-liked player in the squad as well. If he's creating moments, Nathan, keep on doing it, Sunshine, because that's what forwards are there for. And they might not be in the game all 90 minutes, 98 minutes, whatever it was. But if you create a goal, create a chance, create an opportunity, that's literally what they're there for. Nobody would want to play against him, no defender.
I think it's the same with Benjamin Sesko as well, who obviously scored the winner because, he came on the pitch, almost scored with his first touch. Lovely cross from Ahmad, by the way. Beautiful
It was
cross forward into him.
Mainu it was. I watched it.
Was it?
Mainu.
Was it? I thought it was Ahmad. Okay.
No,
but
sure
anyway,
Mainu.
Are you sure?
No, I've just watched it, but it is 6 o'clock in the
Oh,
morning.
he's not sure.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm not committing.
Throw it into chaos. I thought it was Ahmad. But anyway, it was a beautiful chip ball in. Almost scored with his first touch. Then obviously they go and get 2 goals. Looks like a draw. Bruno, magic pass, Calvin Bassey gets the ball into the box first time. Fulham defending. If you're Marco Silva, you're absolutely raging at the centre backs there. But that goal from Sesko, and I know it wasn't quite as far out and there wasn't as much on the line, but that did feel a lot like Federico Makeda. Just that turn and shoot, just getting it in the box and banging it in. And you can't not like Sesko. He's there, he's trying, and that goal, he deserved to get that winner, especially in front of the Stretford end. What will that do for his confidence, man?
It can only boost his confidence. There's really glowing reports coming out with Sesko, isn't there, about how he's approaching the game and training, etc. And how he's another one that's really liked by all the players. You could see that when he scored, they were all really happy for him. The delight in his face as a United fan, you can only be happy with that. And for him to get that goal, the winner, they're the moments as a United. They're the reasons why you come to Manchester United, for moments like that. You don't really get them at other clubs. And like you say, his first effort was a good header, to be fair, and the turn and finish, it's brilliant. It's a great thing. He does have a bit more time than what he should have, but for him to turn, take the touch, and then finish at the top corner, absolutely brilliant. I saw Sesko. I can't remember what game it was, but I was watching him in the warm-up. I got there early for one of the games, and his finishing was outstanding in the warm-ups, and Ugate's wasn't, just to put that out there. But Sesko's finishing with both feet and his heading in the warm-ups, I was like, oh, I did, because you're not really seeing it, have we? We've not really seen him have them chances. The Burnley game was the only one, and I thought, oh, wow, both feet, top corners, drilling it in. I thought that's absolutely brilliant. And then for that 90 minutes I was there, I don't think he touched the ball really. He didn't really have a chance. But I've seen him do that in the warm-ups, and so obviously the players would have seen him do this in training. And then it's a matter of just getting him on the pitch and doing it. So for a young lad, we've just spoken about Mainu having mentors there to learn the game. He's not really got anyone there to learn the game from, Sesko. So for him to do that and do it on his own, I believe Dimitar Berbatov was actually called in by Carrick to have a word with Sesko and help him settle in, have a word with him and help him with these games and stuff like that. So you can't really complain if Berbatov's coming in and giving him just a few little pointers is probably what he needs as a kid. So yeah, boost his confidence. Brilliant, Sesko.
Yeah. I think that covers the Fulham game. We're going to be talking about the strength in depth of the squad and the January transfer window in the next section. Obviously, I did want to talk about Ugarte and that dip in quality of the Fulham game, but let's talk about it in the next segment because he does actually lead on to it. The January transfer window has now closed. Manchester United did zero business on bringing people in. And as we just talked about in the last segment with the Fulham game, it's a bit of a risky decision by Manchester United. With Champions League within reach, it does feel like we're one Casemiro injury away from a disaster, because as we talked about before, Ugarte, the quality, it's not just him, but the quality of the replacements when that first 11, any of that first 11 go off, it's not great when it comes on. And it let Fulham back in the game when Mateus Cunha and Casemiro went off. I think with January in mind, we will see what happens. If they can't make Champions League football now, then Ineos have to take some responsibility for that. I don't think they would have got the targets that they really wanted at the price that they wanted. So it does make sense to wait until the summer. However, it is a bit of a risky move, and we'll see what happens. Lots of loan signings. Loans going out. Harry Amas has gone to Norwich. I think Toby Collier, another weird one. Why have you let him go when Ugarte is obviously rubbish? Letting Collier go to Hull, I think he's gone to. And a few of the other boys have gone on loan as well. A few permanent moves as well for a few of the lads. I think was it Joe Hugel has gone on permanent?
Yeah, it's gone to Scotland, hasn't he? Yeah, it's gone to Scotland, yeah.
Yeah. So with that in mind, obviously we're looking ahead to the summer now. What does a successful summer window look like for you?
A right back. I think a right back's essential. Two centre midfielders.
Right back's interesting. Let's pause on this one. Right back's interesting. Davo, Ahmad,
Mazraoui.
Technically, and Mazraoui. You're not happy with
Yes.
those options?
No. I think if you've got any ambitions of winning titles, no, I don't. I think that's something you can easily upgrade there. Like Mazraoui,
Okay.
I do. I think he's a very good squad player, but I don't think you win the league with Mazraoui in your starting 11.
Okay, fair. Okay, and then what were the other positions? Central midfield, obviously.
Central midfield, obviously. Yeah, it stands out a mile. And left winger are the ones that I would look at. Also, if you can bring an experienced striker, as we just discussed there, just as cover, because I think the likes of Xerxes will move on. Surprised he didn't get moved on in January. Yeah, I think a backup striker, an experienced striker, left winger, centre midfielder, at least one right back.
So I'm just going to jump into the left winger part right now, because I think central midfield's pretty obvious what we'll end up talking about. So I hadn't really considered it, but you've obviously brought it up, so there's strong feelings about it. At the moment, it's Dorgu and Mbumo and Cunha that can play on that left.
Yeah.
But okay, so where do you see the weakness then? Is it another first team left winger, or do you see it as bulking out the squad with a young player coming through?
No, I think we're crying out there for the quality we've got on the right wing. I think you need the same standard, same level. You need Champions League standard on the left wing. I think there's an imbalance there, because Cunha's not playing out there, is he really? He's tucking in and playing as a forward 3. And the width seems to be coming from Luke Shaw's. But like you say, if Cunha's not available and Boomer's not available, if one of them's out, you're down to a kid, aren't you? You're down to asking Shea Lacey to come in, or there is the possibility of JJ Gabriel making some crazy, appearance in there. But I don't want to rely on kids. I want someone who's going to come in and go, no. Semenyo was the ideal one, wasn't he? But let's move on from him. I'm talking. I mean, I've got a few names here. I made a list.
Go on.
I'm talking about the likes of Yildiz from Juve, someone who is top draw.
Can I give you a very, very interesting thing about that? Mentioning Yildiz from Juventus. It's a bit top secret, but I know that United. I know that I'm fairly certain that United scouts were there against Parma.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, at least they know what they're doing then, don't they? Because that kid is special. Yeah, I know there's talk of Diomande. We'll come on to that later as well. As another one who's been looked at from the Ivory Coast, because he's had a very, very good season. Every time I've seen Yildiz, I watched him when he came off. He came off the bench actually and just completely changed the game for Juve. But every time I've seen that guy, I think, wow, he's very, very special. Creative, scores goals. Normally the best player on the pitch. I think he'd probably cost you 80 million, if not more. But if you can get. So this is what I'm talking about, is where these standards now, you've got to go again. You've got to go
Yeah.
like, okay, there's
Okay.
no point buying mediocre. Sorry, Xerxes, but there's no point buying players like that. Interesting, maybe I'll use them in a swap deal. I'm after the 10% on this deal, I tell you. But if you threw him in, you then become your front four. He's really exciting, isn't it? Left winger.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Diomande plays on that left wing as well, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Yeah. So you've got to have options. I've said this. If you've got a position that needs filling, have 4 or 5 lads that you think they can all do a job. You don't get the first one, go for the second one. Don't get the second, go for the third one. It frustrates the life out of me when they just and ah for 6 months about who they're going to go and get. You must have a list. Yeah, everyone loves a list, don't they? Especially us artistics. You love it.
I think that is what they are building out right now. Now that they've got the right team in place, with Carl McCauley going in there, they've got this team in place and a proper network, because they've closed down a load of those scouts that were just writing a report at once a month and cashing a check. I think they've got rid of all of those guys, and they're being very specialist, or they're being very specific on the people that they want and the areas that they want to target as well. South America being a big one because of Christopher Vivell and his connections there. So we'll definitely see a list of players that will come through to United. I think Diomande, he certainly looks the part, and he looks like Semenyo. When's the next African Cup of Nations? Because I'm talking decimating our front three if they become the starters.
We laugh, but that is something that Ruben Amorim will be at home going, damn you, African and Cup of Nations, won't it? Because he'll be thinking, if those lads aren't gone, I'd still be in a job. So you have to think. And also Alex Ferguson thought about these kind of things, didn't he? And he wasn't so keen on bringing the lads that go away at an important part of the season. It's something you have to think of. So you have to add that into your thoughts as well, because they will go, won't they? And it's understandable. And it's hard to cover.
100%. But that's why I think as you rightly said before, bringing the standards up across the entire squad is what's needed, so that you're not completely reliant on someone that hasn't even played in the first team. You can season the squad with these, like with a Shea Lacey, with a JJ Gabriel, when you're winning games, when you've got the squad depth, that there are 2 solid players for each position, that you're like, the quality does not drop. At the moment, Casemiro goes off, Ugarte comes on. I don't think Ugarte had a terribly bad game, but he can't do the same things. He cannot do the same things. He's not the same player as Casemiro, so it's not like for like. But to your point, you need when Dorgu goes off, there has to be a left winger that can come on. When Sesko goes off, there has to be someone else that can play that position. It's not Joshua Xerxes again. Sorry to use Xerxes as the example, but you need like for like. Same with the goalkeepers as well. I'd even go back as far as that. You need a goalkeeper that's just going to come in. Senna Lammers can't play, right? Okay, we've got loads more games this season. This is the new lad that's doing it, because it ain't Bayindir and it ain't Onana. Like both of those, I expect them to leave at the end of the season. It might be Radek Vitek, who's currently out at Bristol City. It could be him. Never know. But there's certainly options, and you definitely need to have 2 for each position when you're challenging on all fronts next season. We will talk about the midfielders eventually. It kind of feels a bit played out though. I'll run through the options, and you add in who you think should be added to this list. But from what I can tell, Elliot Anderson is the number 1 target for Manchester United in the summer. It sounds like there's going to be 2. So it sounds like there could be Elliot Anderson plus 1 more. Are they going to splash the cash on a Carlos Baleba at the side of him? I don't know. Are they going to go for Edison, who they still like, by the way? I don't know. He's a cheaper option. Joao Gomez, again, if Wolves get relegated, his price gets knocked down. Good option from the bench. But is there anyone else that you would stick in there for the midfielder role?
Not particularly. I think it's quite obvious the targets for United. Adam Watson's the other obvious one. We're not hearing lots of stories. The Anderson one worries me, because I think, like I said last time, since the City links have come along, it just seems to be gone a little bit quiet on the United front. I think Baleba's probably the main one, because we were obviously linked with a move, and I've not heard or not seen any stories of him going elsewhere. So I think that normally tends to mean that he's nailed on to be coming in. So I wouldn't be surprised if Belieber was the one that came in and we missed out on Anderson. I think you're probably correct that Anderson's the first choice centre midfielder to go in there alongside Kobbie Mainoo to replace Casemiro. And it's a great option. But like I said, City want him as well.
Yeah.
See what happens there.
Well, I think the only thing that we can rely on, because you can't offer him more money, I sent you the capology. I don't know if you looked at it, the Manchester United
Yeah.
salaries.
Yeah.
No player under the Ineos regime is on more than 200 grand basic a week, which was, that was getting out of hand. Casemiro is on 350. I think Harry Maguire's on that as well. Basic, he might be a bit high, not on 300, but he's a little bit higher, which is one of the reasons why there's rumours that Jim Ratcliffe wants him off the wage bill, which I think could be a mistake. I think Harry Maguire's the type of person that you want to get back to the negotiating table, try and get him on a lower contract and keep him around the club, because you don't want to lose too many big personalities at once, because you're just starting again. And I don't think that particularly helps. Belieber's an interesting one because, again, he's got the AFCON issue. I know it's not going to be every year, but you have got the AFCON issue that you have to contend with. Is he the right player? I think he's started to play okay again for Brighton, but again, he started off the season so bad. Is that youth? Is it just him getting used to the league? Is he still finding his feet? Can he raise his level to become elite? He's already a very good player, but can he raise it to become elite? I don't know.
Will they still want 100 million? Because that's obviously going to put you off as well, isn't it? So
they're not going to get 100 million for Belieber. No chance.
The thing is, there's all these question marks now, isn't there, that we never had before. At the beginning of the season, when the transfer window were like, no, don't just get him, he's brilliant. And now, all of a sudden, 6 months later, you started to go, oh, there's question marks. A similar one would have been with and just not moving on, but Mateta. Now there's question marks about Mateta, isn't there? Where it was we were all going, no, get him in, he's brilliant. But now there are question marks. So you have to think about these things. I'm sure the scout department will be looking at Belieber and going, do we need 80, 90 million, £100 question mark in the centre of the field? Because as soon as he comes to Manchester United, people will be asking more questions about him, about his performance. So yeah, it's going to be interesting anyway, isn't it? To that centre midfield.
And I think a lot of the dealings under Ineos as well, not just the salary bill, they're not just trying to close that down as well, but they also want to buy players that, if they don't work out in 18 months, that they're going to get some sort of return on it. Because at the moment, United buying players is a little bit like, as soon as you drive a brand new car off a dealership, take 20% off the original price. You're never selling it for that same price again. And it's the same. Look at Anthony. Look at any of the players that we brought in for big money. United would be hard pressed to get a fraction of that back. So I think that's probably one of the other things they're looking at. That's why I don't think they'll pay 100 million for Carlos Belieber. I don't think they'll do it.
I agree.
I think if it's a choice between 100 million for Carlos Belieber or Ederson, Joao Gomez, don't quite hit the same metrics, but they're 30 million less or 40 million less, whatever it is, I think you go and take a punt on that instead and fill out the squad with, equally good players that can grow into what a Carlos Belieber was expected to be. While we're talking about ins, let's talk about the outs, because there's going to be quite a few at the end of this season, I imagine. The most obvious ones, Casemiro, he's already said that he's leaving. I still think there might be a late twist in that, depending on how he finishes the season. Onana is going to be gone. Ugarte, I think it's quite obvious. I think him and Xerxes are probably going to go at the end of the season. Rashford, we know, he's not got a future at Manchester United, despite the reports that Michael Carrick might consider bringing him back into the fold. I just don't think it works that way. Jadon Sancho, finally off the wage bill at the end of this season. Rasmus Højlund and Terrell Malacia, who was apparently they stopped a loan move. And do you know what? I'd actually forgotten about him. When Dorgu got injured, I was like, oh, who's going to play there now? And it's like if Shaw gets injured, for example, who's going to play left back, or who's going to play left wing? Malacia, the forgotten man. I mean, who knows what he's going to be up to these days? But he's been told to stay at the club and not move to Turkey. So let's see what happens. But those are the obvious ones. Less obvious that are probably going to leave at the end of the season. Harry Maguire, still don't know about that, but it seems to be that he could be on his way out. Mason Mount is a player that coaches love, but I don't think you can afford to have passengers. I don't think you can afford to have it. You've said it before. If you want to be elite, you can't take passengers like this. And even as a squad player, he's in and out of the team with his injuries. It's not good enough. And then the last one on this, and I don't know how you feel about it, but Bruno Fernandes. Less obvious, but I think it might be his last season.
Yeah, he's. I can't really argue with any of them that you just said for outs. I believe I was reading last night, Aaron Maguire is willing to take an £80,000 a week pay cut to stay. That's something I would look at doing. But you look at the centre halves, and we have got a lot of depth there, like Lenioro, Aidan Heaven, Martinez, De Ligt, and then Maguire would be fifth. So that's five. Go on.
Matthias De Ligt. I mean, are you not worried about the fact that we haven't heard anything about what's going on with
Very
him?
strange. Yes, I read a bit of a weird thing, and it was why he's not.
I probably read the same thing on Twitter where was it where they were saying that when it all comes out, you're going to be shocked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tinfoil hat brigade trying to make mischief. Yeah.
A bit sketchy, wasn't it? But
but
there was nothing else into
that
it.
same thing, just to clear up this conspiracy theory. What it was I think it was on Twitter or on Instagram. Someone had posted something about when it all comes out about Matthias De Ligt, everyone's going to be massively shocked, alluding to drugs, alluding to like things that were corrupt and all types of stuff. And that's the reason why he's out. Or criminal activity was another thing that was maybe suggested. But someone went back through this person's post, the post that went viral, and they found word for word, but just changing the name. They said it about someone like Bernardo Silva when he was injured. So it's the same
That
thing.
worries me. That worries
to
me
repeat.
because I've heard a few things about Bernardo Silva. So, I don't know. I'm not getting sued. But yeah, all right, okay.
The inhaler brigade, you mean?
Well,
You mean
I'm not getting
you mean
involved.
those
Not getting
guys?
involved. There's like, watch your space. It is a weird one off of De Ligt because we've not really heard much, have we? But going back to the centre halves there, if Maguire's your fifth and he's your fifth choice, is he the fifth choice? Because you want to give more minutes to Euro. He's been brilliant, Maguire. He has. Let's not going to get it. And his partnership he's starting to build with Martinez is looking very, very good and solid. But if he is your fifth choice, Aidan Heaven's been playing well when he's coming. He seems to have been taken out of the team now. Lenioro needs more minutes. Lenioro is probably the person that's at the back of the pack at the minute because Maguire has really come in and said, this is my position.
I think I was going to say it's probably reverse, right? It's Maguire's first choice right now.
He is first choice right now, but he is the third top earner at the club. And that's something that obviously Ineos don't want. If you can, because going forward, Nathan, you want these kids to take, you want Lenioro to take Maguire's position. He needs more minutes to prove himself. And if he's not good enough over 12, 18 months, then you get rid of him, you get someone else in. Maguire's not going to be our starting in the starting 11 in the next 18 months, is he? His legs will go. He's obviously having a resurgence and a good time at the minute. But now is probably the time to go, brilliant, thank you very much, and moving on. Cash in, because you can get a fifth choice centre half on an eighth of his wages, Nathan. It's a massive amount that he's on. I know he's willing to take a pay cut, but once again, can you win a league with Harry Maguire? He's starting 11. I know it's harsh to say because he is playing very well, but on that amount of wages, I can see why the club are looking at just saying, right, okay, brilliant, thank you. There you go.
See, I don't see it the same way. I see it as like you're not just getting a centre back. I think you're keeping a character and a captain material around the club. And as I said before, if you get rid of too many of those players, there's a great thing that again there was a post, or it might have been a blog post from someone. It was a Real Madrid fan, and they were saying that when Tchouaméni signed for Real Madrid as Casemiro's replacement, they were like, brilliant. We've got a young player He's got legs. He can fill that gap. He's energetic. He can do all of those things that Casemiro can do. Hasn't even touched those heights. And they're still searching for that player now. They're still dipping into the transfer market, looking for that player to come in and take over that Casemiro role. It's the same way Man United have been looking for Carrick for all these years. They're difficult to replace, not just on the pitch, but also the character that they have as well. So if you're going to get rid of Casemiro, I don't think you can afford to get rid of Maguire as well. I think you negotiate with him. You bring him back down to what's affordable to the wage bill, and you keep him on. Because you might not win the league with him, but he's better than all our centre backs right now. So so you either replace all four of them that are behind him, or I don't know. You play them just for the hope that it's going to get better.
Can't disagree with that. Yeah. Either way, you can see where there's an argument for both sides, and I can see that. Yeah.
And just the last point on the summer transfer window, you mentioned it right at the top of this section. An experienced striker, 100%. I think Sesko needs someone that he can learn from. And the person that I would go for, and it's probably going to cost you a bit more than you'd want to pay for him, but if Harry Kane becomes available, he's the player that I go for. It's going to be a difficult situation between him and Sesko and explaining that he's going to be second choice, but Harry Kane's the person that I would go for. 100%.
How long do you...
Proven goal scorer.
We should have got Harry Kane.
Van Persie style, mate. Even if it's just a season. Even if it's just a season and a half, that's what you go for. If you want to win a title, get the rest of the squad with that winning feeling of winning a title and knowing how to do it. Kane's a massive, massive piece of that puzzle. And I think Sesko would benefit from him, and I think every striker would benefit from him. And I think he again, replacing characters of the club. I think that's exactly what he does. And he'll fancy coming back and trying to break that record as well. He's got unfinished business in the Premier League, and if he's got a route back, he'll never go back to Spurs, but if he's got a route back to it, I think he probably could go to Manchester United. I wouldn't hate to see him in a Red United shirt anyway, put it that way.
The only completely agree. Everybody would want Harry Kane, wouldn't they? The only thing he would demand would be Champions League football. So that would be a dependence on him, wouldn't it? Yeah, he has to play at the top. Coming from a World Cup, he'd probably slot into a Manchester United team and take off one. If you imagine the runners and the Harry Kane dropping deep, and then you get lights of Mbumo and him finding them, because he's been brilliant, hasn't he, Harry Kane? Over the years, like you say, you probably get a good 18 months out of him. You say to Sesko, look, we're going to bring him in. Yeah, Harry Kane won't be able to play every single week, Champions League, etc. But this is a man you learn from 18 months. Sesko would be like, brilliant. It takes the pressure off me. I'm not the man who has to score goals. I'm going to see him how he approaches a game in training, how he does everything. And Sesko, I can imagine him only being like, brilliant. That's brilliant for me. Whether you can get it done or not, we'll have to see. But there's nobody, like we said, experienced striker, there's nobody better in the world, is there, than Harry Kane. You probably look at the likes of Lewandowski. I know he's having a few contract issues as well, but you would choose Harry Kane over everyone, wouldn't you? Yeah. Do it. If you can.
12:30 or 4:30 if you're in Dubai. On Saturday is Manchester United versus Tottenham Hotspur. Another test for Michael Carrick. Every game's a test, isn't it? Every game's a test for Michael Carrick from now until the end of the season. Weirdly, he could be auditioning for 2 jobs in this game, because there has been a little cheeky rumour doing the rounds that if Thomas Frank is jettisoned at the end of the season, it's between Robbie Keane and Michael Carrick who gets the reins at Spurs next season.
Interesting.
So there we go. Another little interesting one. They were absolutely woeful against Manchester City in the first half. Dreadful. I thought they was going to get battered by 6 or 7, but fair play to them. They got themselves back into the game in the second half and managed to come away with a 2-2 draw. I think they could have gone on and won the game, to be honest. They were creating chances and they looked decent. But how do you see it going against United at Old Trafford? And do you think Carrick will stick with the same squad of starting 11.
I don't see any reason to change it. Why you change? It's not really got the squad depth or options to change it, has it? Who can you think? There you go. Well, he deserves a chance. I can't. Maybe Sesko deserves a chance to start. Maybe, but no, I can't see anything else other than that. Sorry. But no, I would go with this, kids. I would go with the same 11. I think the manager will do the same. I think Spurs are there for the battering. Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you start how we've been starting, you get an early goal and you press on. I can see this being 3 or 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get at 'em.
I've got that same sort of feeling about this game, that what City did was they kind of took their foot off the pedal, and it was they could have hit them for 4, 5, 6 in the first half, and then they kind of thought that they'd won it. And I think, if my memory serves me correct, it's the first time in 8 years of games that Man City have been 2-0 up and failed to win the game. So I think subconsciously they were like, well, we always win. So, we've gone 2 goals up, we always win.
Switched off.
Yeah, and I think they switched off, and I think that's one of the reasons why Guardiola is going to leave at the end of the season. He's had enough, hasn't he?
He's struggling to inspire him, isn't he? Yeah, and when that happens as a manager, you are kind of dead in the water. That might be another thing. I'll just scoot back to the Anderson thing. If he sees that Pep is leaving,
Exactly,
he's got one foot out the door.
Yeah,
Something we could probably use to our advantage. Yeah.
I was going to say that. I think the Elliot Anderson thing is definitely hinges on Guardiola staying, because
I agree.
the uncertainty of a new manager coming in. I think the short list, we're not a Man City podcast, but I'll just carry on with this. This is the short list of managers is Cesc Fabregas, Xabi Alonso, and Enzo Maresca, 3-man shortlist to take over there. And if you're a big player, and even like Erling Haaland, you might be like, Pep's leaving. Oof. I might go to Real and go and stake my claim out there, go and live in the sunshine. But anyway, back to this game. I think, it's probably likely that he will start with the same lineup. I can't see him changing it unless anyone's injured. I don't think you would change it. I think Mbeumo down the middle wasn't his greatest game against Fulham, but I think he did play well. I think he did okay. I think he still causes problems. You'd rather have him on the pitch than not on the pitch. So I can see that same lineup going out again. It's all going to be. I think it will all come down to the first half. What happens in the first half? I think if it's 0-0 going in at half time, I think it's going to be very nervy, and I think Spurs will grow in confidence going into that second half, knowing what they did against City, knowing what they can do against United, and we need to exercise the demons of the Europa League final. So they could get under our skin if we don't close it off early. But I think United have got it in them to go to play them off the pitch and win.
Approach the game in the right manner. Start well. Start fast. Create things. They're a fragile team, Spurs. They are on the brink of absolute imploding, aren't they? And you can see that. And I don't think there's anybody who epitomises that more than that bit of a balloon of a centre half they've got there, who's a red card waiting to happen. So if you get in and around him, he will lose his rag. So just put him under pressure. Romero I'm talking about.
Romero,
yeah. But I think they've got the confidence is there, and if you get at them and they concede an early goal, you can see them collapsing away. Unfortunately, you say the same about some of United's players, that if we concede an early goal, their heads can go as well. But yeah, it'll be all important. First 20 minutes, early kick-off at United, at Old Trafford, and the atmosphere will be bouncing again like it was at the weekend. Yeah, win your home games, get at them, and I can see goals. We've got goals in us now, Nathan, haven't we?
Speaking of which, then, what score do you think it'll be?
I'm going to go for 4-0.
Wow, look at that.
Mahusive. I'm going in. 240, I'm going in. Have that.
All in. I think it'll be. I think United will win 2-1. I think they'll score. Okay. I think this might be the game where there's a bit more adversity for Michael Carrick. I think that's what I'm predicting. I think it's good. It's not all going to go Manchester United's way, but I think they'll escape with a 2-1 victory, and it'll be 4 from 4. And that lad from United Strand will be one game closer to getting his hair chopped. That's what I think. FPL pick, apart from Bruno Fernandes.
It's going to be one of Cunha and Bumo. I'll go Bumo since he had a quieter game against Fulham. We'll go with Bumo. Danger.
I see. I'm going as an outside one. I'm going Kobbie Mainoo. I think he's on the cusp. I think he's on the cusp of something. He's there. He's found his feet in the last 3 games. I think the next step is to try and get that slide rule balling and a few little assists. Maybe for Sesko, maybe for Cunha in round the back. I've just got a feeling it's going to come. We didn't even talk about Casemiro's no look assist.
Beautiful.
For Cunha.
Beautiful. That one. It's
didn't
beautiful
even talk
stuff.
about it.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of
It's brilliant.
tactical breakdowns of how the positioning was done for the goals, and there's a lot of you can go and find them, and it looks like the confidence of moving the ball around and taking the positions up, and then for him to do that, pull that no-look pass out from no, I didn't see it at first.
Brilliant.
I don't think a lot of us did. I know Mainoo did straight away. You were over to him rather than that. Yeah, super.
Yeah.
Did you think he had that in his locker? The old Brazilian Sambridge?
I think so, yeah. I think he's
They've all got it in the locker, them lads, haven't they?
Exactly, mate.
Yeah.
Exactly. It just depends
Sambo lads have got
on confidence. Just depends on
Yes.
confidence. And a great finish from Cunha as well. Didn't even mention that in the Fulham review. But as long as we can get no-look passes and smashes from Cunha again, I think we'll be all right in that game. It's been a while since we've had a Gummers mailbag, but we've got some. It's overflowing with three requests, 3 questions. Overflowing. So I'll go with the first one. This is from Lenny. He says, you have to pick a manager today who will start next season. Who is it for Manchester United?
Luis Enrique. All day.
Interesting.
If not Tuchel. One of them two. I think it will be one of them two.
So not Carrick then?
No.
Oh,
Not for me.
Interesting. But you see, the thing is, I listening to the good, the bad, and the football earlier. Nicky Button, Paul Scholes was saying, Michael Carrick is getting a tune out of him now, and I think Roy Keane said the same on Sky Sports as well. He's getting a tune out of him because he's their mate right now. He's not having to make any like big decisions. He's not having to tell them that they can't have the day off, or they've been fined for leaving their boots out, or do you know what I mean? He's not manager right now. He's their friend, getting the best out of them. The big problems will come when he has to make tricky decisions on the squad. So I kind of agree with that. If I was to choose someone, I think it would be Enrique, I think. And it might happen.
Yeah.
The Enrique thing
can
might
see it.
happen because, I mean, he won so much last season. They're having a bit of a wobble at the moment. I mean, Lens was sat at the top of the table in Ligue 1 for, a couple of weeks, I think. So they're not having it all their own way. They're having to qualify for the next round of the Champions League through the playoffs, I think.
Okay.
So, there is an opportunity there for United to go in and get Enrique. Is he the right person for it? I don't know. But he's the person that I would put my trust in right now for that job.
Yeah. I think
if Carrick wins every game from now until the end of the season, then what?
Well, you still go and get a top manager, the best that you can.
Brutal.
Paul
Cropper's not having it. There's no sentiments
No.
here. Win your games and sod off. That's what he's telling to Big Michael.
Ollie burnt me, but I'm feel scarred
I
for life.
I don't think that can be compared. I know we talked about this before, but I don't think it can be compared because there were big situations and scenarios that took place that led to Solskjaer being booted out. Remember that those performances went so flat. And remember what players were in the squad at that point. Like
Crumble, weren't
Pogba,
they?
Lingard, Rashford. He had Ronaldo coming in. Remember, he was in charge when, Ronaldo came in because we didn't want him to go to City. And I get it. I understand it. But again, disruptive figure. And he couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle those egos. I don't think Carrick is that same person. I think he's less emotional to not get bogged down in that. I think he can switch off those things, and I think he can manage Manchester United on multiple levels. And I think he knows what type of football he wants to play. I think he knows what players fit the system best. I don't think he's the same as Solskjaer in that circumstance. I don't think he's. I'm not saying as bad. I'm just saying he's not that type of manager. And
No,
to judge him by that same metric of Solskjaer, I don't think it's. Yeah, I don't think you can.
I think Carrick
it'd be more fair.
is, because I've not actually spoke about this, have we? Because I missed last week. I think Carrick strikes me as a similar temperament to obviously nowhere near as good experience as an Ancelotti. A calm, just goes around the club
I
and
see what you mean. Yeah,
everything's tranquilo, everything's calm. I'm under control. He's not going to go in there shouting and screaming. He's just going to go in there, look smart, with tie on. This is what I want you to do, this lads. This is what I want you to do.
yeah.
I don't think for United to kick on again and be challenged. I think we need a bit of a maniac. I think we need a bit of a nutter who's going to go in there and
Did
demand.
we just get rid of one? Did we just get rid of one?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure what Amorim was.
Would you say ripping a TV off the wall is sane behaviour?
Well, we've all done it, haven't we? Well done it. And then last minute goals going.
Well, I'm not
No,
sure.
just me then. Just me then. Yeah. I think the likes of Tuchel and Enrique will come in with the appetite to push the club on and drag us out of the mire. I can see I can see why people would say, no, you stick with Carrick, he's winning, blah, blah, blah. In my opinion, you could have brought any ex-player in and he would have got a better tune out and put him in the 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1, whatever he's done. And the players would have gone, all right, we're a lot more comfortable like this. I think if we were to kick on again, you need someone who's been at the top level in the clubs. I know Tuchel's been in the Premier League. He's done it. He's been there. And he will go in every day and push the club forward and drag us on. In my opinion, that's what you do. Whether the club go with that, I don't know.
Okay. All right. That's fair enough. So Carrick is not a shoo-in whether he wins every game from now until the end of the season. Fair enough. That is fair. All right. The second one in Gummer's mailbag is from Al. He says, do you think Ineos or the Glazers will say anything about the protests that happened before Fulham?
No, I think they just push it aside like they do. They don't care. People, all these protests, everything that United fans do, and we look into the reasons why, they don't care. They literally look at us as if, just swat us to the side. They'll carry on doing what they're doing. They'll carry on leeching money. Unfortunately, I just don't see an end to it. Owners don't care about protest, Nathan. What they care about is people still filling that stadium, people still spending money on their hot dogs, paying £9 a hot dog or whatever it is, or £20 a meal deal. That superstore that is still full every time you go to Old Trafford. People are still taking photos outside. The stadium tour is still sold out every time you try and get in there. That's all they care about. Money. They don't care about protests.
How does it change then? How does the ownership change for you? Someone that comes in and makes a bid that they just cannot refuse?
Yes. Yeah, it'll either be that or the club stopped making money. And Manchester United will never stop making money because it's that big of a club. So yeah, it takes someone to come in and then blow them out of the water and go, right, it's worth what, 3 billion? There's 7. What are you going to do with that? And then they'll go, oh, we can't turn that down. Yeah. Unfortunately.
I mean, it's sad. It is sad. I was listening to Talk of the Devils, and they was interviewing a few people that were in the protest, and a lot of the ill will has gone towards Jim Ratcliffe now, or Jim Glazer as they keep calling him, because we were expecting that there was going to be a path where he came in, Ineos came in, and then the Glazers would be shifted on. But Ineos are in massive amounts of debt. You know, they've messed up Nice. They're trying to sell them for 100 million or something like that, and a bag of chips. And then they've got Lausanne, who I don't even know what they're doing. I know they just signed Sesko on loan, but they're not doing much in football or in sport. So I don't know what's going on with Ineos at the moment. Do I think they'll come out and say something? They have actually responded through the when these protests have happened previously. He's been in like he's now making an appearance on such and such a podcast, or he's now being interviewed by the BBC, and I don't know. I think for them, they've just got to keep their heads down and just hope they don't make any more mistakes. That's it. Results on the pitch, that's all they want. And then will they review the prices, the 66 quid for the older people and kids? Probably not. As you say, someone will pay that 66 quid. Someone that's in Manchester for 24 hours and they want to watch a game, they'll come in and they'll do it. So, yeah. Oh, interestingly, while we're on that subject, we had Lord Sebastian Coe in the studio the other day. So obviously he's head of World Athletics, Olympic gold medalist, as we know, or people of a certain age will know for the UK. He was talking about being the, he's on the task force to try and get this Wembley of the North. So he's part of the team that's trying to get Manchester United that new stadium. So he's working with Jim Ratcliffe. He's working with, I think it's Andy Burnham from Manchester, the MP from Manchester. So he's working with all of these people and he's trying to get it done. And he sounds quite optimistic about it. You should, if you can, you go to you can search for it. The Score, Dubai Eye 103.8. Search for their podcast, and if you look down, you'll find the Lord Coe special, and it's in there. I put that together. It's in there, and you should be able to hear it. Him talking to Chris McCarty about it, amongst other things about athletics and stuff like that. But if you just keep scrubbing through, you'll be able to find it. But yeah,
I've heard a big rumor about the stadium and the fact that what the club are looking at doing is charging you £2,000 for the rights to your seat. So anything that goes on at that stadium, be it a concert or an NFL game, you have the rights to that seat. But they're going to charge you £2,000 for it plus your season ticket. So you're talking £4,000 for the seat and your season ticket, which is what my maths is absolutely garbage. But you're talking 400 million in one pot, then, aren't you? That's one way that Ineos will be looking at that and going, we can make an absolute killing here if we do this, and that's probably the reason why they're trying to push this through. Because that's the biggest way that they can make money is through that new stadium. So,
and I think they're trying to push it through, obviously, because what is Jim in his 80s now? He's in his late 70s, early 80s.
He looks like he's struggling, doesn't he? Big Jim.
I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go onto the health issues or anything like that. But just father time waits for no man. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And like you say, it's all about legacy for him, isn't it? So it's, all these protests, it won't make Sir Jim go away. He's obviously looking at pushing on forward, pushing through it. All eggs in one basket, strike to mind with this.
True. Right. You've got the last one from the Gunners mailbag?
I have from Paolo. He's obviously, he wasn't the biggest fan, but it's a very simple one.
Yeah.
Was Amorim a con man?
Oh man, was Amorim a con man? Well, I'm going to ask you, mate. I'll turn it back onto you because I've obviously got my opinions on it, and I've made them very clear on this podcast for a long time. Like the reason why I ask you, and this isn't to like stitch you up or anything, but between the three of us, you was the one that was like, it's these players. But having the dust has obviously settled on things now. He's no longer at the club. You can see the players, like they feel like they're playing with this relief that he's gone now, or freedom that he's gone now. How do you feel about it? Like less the con man side of things, but how do you feel about Amorim in retrospect?
I think not maybe. He's obviously going down as I think he goes down as the worst Manchester United,
he does,
statistically wise, as the
in
worst.
The Premier League manager, 100%.
Yeah. You can't argue with it, can you? The proof is in the pudding there, in the results and the way that the players are now playing. We weren't getting the full story of what kind of a manager he was. Maybe the players were telling us all from the beginning that we don't like this guy, because the evidence was in those games that we keep mentioning, the Wolves, the Everton, the West Ham. The evidence was there that the players weren't having him. So, I was always one for longevity and back the manager and stuff like that. Shows that I probably wasn't correct there, mate. Con man maybe a bit too far, but he wasn't able to get his ideas across, was he? Maybe they just didn't take to him, didn't like him, didn't like his ways, or he was so frustrated at these players, he was giving them loads. And sometimes, especially new generations of kids and stuff, need that around the shoulder. They don't need a rocket up the backside. Maybe he didn't have that in him.
And I mean, we talked about this last week, but to your credit, like sticking by him, I think pretty much every Manchester United fan did to a certain point. You know, we wanted him to do well. It's not that we wanted to get rid of him. As soon as things went wrong, we were waiting for this promise. You know, but in fact, let me just play it. We all believed in it. We all bought into that. We all wanted him to work out. We all wanted him for his philosophy to translate onto the pitch. But in terms of is he a con man, to answer the question from Paolo, it was Ruben Amorim a con man. I think what he did well, and this is how some con men are described as well, he flattered to deceive. I think a lot of what he was saying was bluster. We've all met these people before in life, in all walks of life. They're all talk, and you never actually see the proof of what they can do. You only have to walk into any shop where there's a salesperson, and you know, especially with technology, you go in and to buy a TV, and they'll tell, "Oh, it's this. It's I've got one at home, mate. Oh, brilliant. Honestly, superb. These TVs. Yeah, you want to get one in. You get it home, and it's crap." It's like, oh, bloody remote doesn't work properly. That feels like what Ruben Amorim was like. He told everyone, this is what I'm going to do with this player. This is what I'm going to do with that player. These players will fit into this position. They will get it. They'll get the ideas. Don't worry about it. My way is the best way. And ultimately, it did work. It was rubbish. And he kept saying, oh, it's going to take more time. We're going to need to get more transfer windows. And we all bought into it to a certain extent. We need these players. They're going to have to fit here. They're going to have to fit there. But it just goes to show, if you're not playing the players in the positions that they need to be in, if you're not just doing the basics, and you're going to die on that hill, which fair play to him, he went in there with an idea and he stuck to it. If you're going to die on that hill, then you don't deserve to be in that job, because adaptability in all walks of life is a must, and he couldn't adapt to Manchester United.
Simply put, I think the job was too big for him. Like, the club and the job was too big for him, and he broke in the end.
West Ham rejected him. West Ham rejected him after having talks with him. Like, you know, they saw something in him, a deficiency, that they went, no.
Yeah, it's. I think the club broke him in the end. The pressure broke him, and this is why I believe we need a top class manager who's been at the top, been at big clubs, knows how to deal with the pressure. And that's why I think you need to go for one of them, because United's it's a different beast, isn't it, when you get in there?
But with that same thought, you mentioned Thomas Tuchel, which I don't disagree with, by the way, but he is a fiery character. Jason Wilcox and Omar Barada have just dealt with someone that didn't have the track record to be able to be making the demands that he did. And they found it very difficult to deal with him. Can you see those two guys, spineless is what I would call them, trying to deal with Thomas Tuchel when things go wrong?
No. Everyone loves a bit of spice, Nathan. You need that to cause a fire. Love a bit of that.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, right, that's enough of the podcast for this week. We'll be back again after the Fulham game. Thanks again for everyone that has signed up for the newsletter, which is going great guns, and also that is on YouTube as well. Do subscribe on YouTube,
Ali.
Yeah, it's doing really well. So make sure that you're subscribed on there, and also leave a comment if you are subscribed on there, because I would like to get more questions from the YouTube channel, and just to know that people are engaged and they get into this last bit of the podcast so that they know that we're calling it out. You can find all of our links to newsletter, YouTube, and social media by going to fergiesgunpodcast.com as well. But me and Paul, barring any injuries, will be back next week after the Fulham. I almost said Fulham, after the Spurs game.